Welcome to Mato, Seihei, no slave.
Sell them to slavery, please!
The anime starts with this responsible dude and his name is Yuki. As he goes home, he gets lured into this dark alternate dimension world called Mato. He gets some PTSD about his older sister dying in here when they were kids. Then some big bad PDD demon shows up trying to devour him.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
He runs away and he gets cornered, and this silver-haired badass babe riding this PDD demon showed up to save him, and her name is Kyoka. We also get introduced to these three bitches who saved this kid, and they have different kinds of powers. Like this bitch can turn her hands into a gun, and this bitch can grow big, and this bitch can scan everything in an area.
Scanning. Control. Manipulate scientific data.
Imagine getting a useless power like turning your cock into a big boat or something. What I said is completely irrelevant. Moving on, Yuki Tsunoda and the Dominatrix saves this girl. They got cornered and she ditches her PDD demon and sets up this barrier to protect them temporarily. Then she says, "Hey weeb, do you wanna live?
Yes.
Then become my simp and I will grant you immense power in order for us to escape this situation." She sticks her hand out and he licks it to buy a tier 3 Twitch sub, and he transforms into a mega simp, having control over her chat and her Discord server. And he starts banning all the low tier simps in her chat. And this makes all the girls sweat because of how brave of a simp he is.
It's Mr. MVP! Simp!
With the power of simping and teamwork, they manage to wipe out all the PDDs. The three ninjas sends the kids back to Earth, while Lady Hitler asks Yuki Tsunoda to be her full-time simp. She kissed him and she says that she kisses her simp as a reward for doing a good job. And if he becomes her full-time slave, he can get full-time French kisses.
What are you, fucking gay?
She also tells her motivation to become the Führer, to start a world war for the PDD demons. Yuki Tsunoda says yes to become her simp because he also wants to be a hero, and their goals kinda align each other. She takes him to their base and introduced him to the squad, and she tells him he can't join the army because they only recruit wet ninjas, and his job is to do house chores and ban simps in her chat and Discord. The next episode starts with some ecchi fan service where this feminist bitch tries to keep him away from the girls because he might molest them. Then this yellow-haired bitch abuses Yuki Tsunoda by taking perverted pictures of him, and she'll use it as a blackmail if he didn't want to be her secret simp. She also tells him that it's her first time talking to a man because she went to an all-girls school and she doesn't have a male sibling. Then what about your dad? Don't you have a fucking dad? Or maybe his dad didn't return to get some milk.
He needs some milk!
As she tries to fuck him by transforming into a giant and sitting on his face, which is every man's dream, then this PDD tries to break into their barrier. She transforms into a kaiju but gets cucked instantly. Yuki then searches for any used clothing of Lady Hitler by smelling it and using it as a spark plug to transform into a degenerate mod. He transforms nearly 35% and they beat the PDD demon. Lady Hitler tells him to never pull that stunt again because it can have consequences into his body. Then we see a sneak peek of these ninjas getting fingered by Matarakan, and she says that it's time to visit Yuki Tsunoda here in hell. A few days passed by and Lady Hitler brought Yuki back to Earth, where they go to her sister's grave, and she tells him about her past, that her goal is to get revenge on this PDD unicorn demon who killed her sister. They go back to their base to raid a PDD hideout. They execute their plan and this demon bitch from earlier shows up and attacks them, and knocks the other two bitches.
That's a lot of damage!
Lady Hitler and Yuki fights her and she keeps yapping about finding her brother. She manages to cut Yuki, but they immediately both realize that they're siblings.
What are you doing, step bro?
Lady Hitler attacks her and she retreats.
Until we meet again!
The gang also manages to escape and they go back to their base. Yuki then tells Lady Hitler that it was his sister that they fought earlier. We skip some ecchi fan service and these two bitches shows up and requested to see Lady Hitler.
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy!
Then Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, roasted their squad on how incompetent they are. Then this bitch, the sister of this bitch, says, "Your squad is weak and pathetic because of a certain someone. If it was me, I would let Yuki transform and let him shag me in the ass balls deep." Then Lady Hitler challenges them to a friendly squad tournament and they agree. Gun Girl borrows Yuki as a slave in order to train. After training, she tells her backstory to him and she says that her family doesn't have expectations on her and she will prove them wrong. She also says that they need to develop a finishing move because her sister's power is the world. We start the training montage and the pair was able to develop a finishing move and they were able to master it. The other squad arrives and the practice battle begins. Oh, that's fucking unfair. It's a 2 versus 1 fight. I can't be satisfied even if I win, although her power is the world, so that kinda makes it fair. Gun Girl makes the first move but her sister reversed the time.
Killer Queen 第3の爆弾
Oh, what the fuck? She has bites the dust too? What's next? Made in heaven? The fight continues and they manage to outsmart her and they land multiple hits. But she used the world to stop time for 10 seconds. She knocks them down and she says, "You should give up. I'm better than you at everything. I am stronger, more beautiful, and most of all, I am more compatible to ride him than you ever can." Then Yuki Tsunoda says to never give up and she stands back up.
Get up.
Then through misdirection, she manages to shoot her in the neck and win. He gets his reward and the next round is about to start and we see these demons watching the fight. The second match starts and they trade some blows using some wrestling moves.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
They show each other's abilities and this bitch can turn into a Super Saiyan. Then Giant Girl goes full giant mode and smashed her.
Smash! Smash!
But Super Saiyan Girl's ability gets stronger when she becomes unconscious, just like Zenitsu, and she easily busts her breast and win. Then Pink Little Girl scans the area and spotted the stalkers, and they start attacking. The mock battle gets cancelled and the CCP starts fighting the demons. Both of these bitches ride Yuki, and he gets stronger by having a threesome. Meanwhile, female Dio gets smacked by this Aztec guy. Then Margaret Thatcher shows up for a substitution. Then Aztec guy says, "You sure you can handle me and my 100 PDD army?" "What army? I already obliterated them just like those Argentinian soldiers who stole my island." They start fighting and with her vaginal strength, she manages to create a black hole and suck the life out of him.
My pussy's throbbing.
The battle ends and the gang goes back into the house to assess everything and report back to HQ about the surprise attack. We skip some ecchi fan service and jump to the next day, where Lady Hitler and her squad visits Margaret Thatcher by having a meeting and to discuss the surprise attack from yesterday. Meanwhile, Yuki cleans the house and does Margaret Thatcher and her squad's laundry, and he manages to improve the relationship of the incest sisters by discovering her cis-complex secret.
Disgusting!
We cut to the Spice Girls where we see Aztec Dude is still alive because Loli Medusa does a clutch save and they plan to attack once again, but this time they'll follow Loli Medusa's plans and wait for her to gather strong demons. We cut back to the meeting of the two leaders where they finish discussing on how to prevent surprise attacks. Then Margaret Thatcher asks Lady Hitler if she can have Yuki Tsunoda to join her squad, but Lady Hitler refuses.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
But she let her borrow him from time to time because she can control his personal life. Then some ecchi stuff happens where Margaret Thatcher snuck onto Yuki Tsunoda's room and tries to fuck him.
Rape!
But Giant Girl spoiled the party.
Yes! 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 No! 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 Fuck! Shit!
On to the next day where everyone tries to ride on Yuki to see if his abilities change with different riders, and he finally unlocks some new form with different riders. Imagine if Margaret Thatcher would ride him, he would easily turn into a god. Yuki then accompanied the loli going to school and talks about their past in order to strengthen their bonds. We cut back to the base where Machine Gun Girl and Giant Lady requested for backup. Margaret Thatcher helps them. Yuki and Lady Hitler puts on a show in front of her to flex on her on how compatible they are by killing this PDD monster with a single hit. Then we see Loli Medusa and this Lady Furry Bird observing the fight. Margaret Thatcher goes home and she gets wet every time she thinks about Yuki.
A little bit spicy.
The next episode starts off Gun Girl and Giant Lady scouting an area for PDD demons, and they were ambushed by these cockroach demons. Yuki and the Dominatrix proceeds to back them up. Along the way, Matarakan showed up, and he obeys her orders as she tells him to stop. The Chimeras abducted him and they retreat.
Bye, bitch!
Yuki wakes up where his sister explains to him what happened after she was sent to hell and how she's living a normal life here. Yuki tells them to negotiate with a ceasefire with the Nazis, but it boils her blood hearing their names, and she will be his enemy if he decides to stick with them because she's an inglorious bastard. She then tells him that this devil fruit changed her appearance and she was able to obtain her powers through this. We cut back to the base where Lady Hitler knows Yuki's location because of the master servant reward. Then Margaret Thatcher and her squad joins them to retrieve Yuki. We cut back to Ogi and the cockroaches where this body explains everything, where she was a super hot model back in Earth. Then one day she suddenly got transported here, and through desperation she ate the devil fruit and slowly transforms into a monster. Then this cult studied her transformation and used her as a sex doll. And when her powers finally kicked in, she escaped and meets all the other cockroaches. Then Matarakan spider senses tingles and prepares her troops for an incoming attack because the CCP finally located their base. Then the other girls holds off the other chimeras, while the Dominatrix and Margaret Thatcher proceeds to rescue Yuki Tsunoda. They manage to run away, but with his sister's incest senses, she manages to find him. But Yuki begs her for a ceasefire and she's willing to listen.
Okay.
The leaders learn about the cult, and the Dominatrix says that she will stop the cult if they agree on a ceasefire. ceasefire, but Matara-kan says that she will defeat them on her own, and they proceed to fight for round 2. Meanwhile, the others kept fighting and the incest lesbian duo gets cucked. Then we see the Lady Bird Furry stalking the fight, and she reports back to Loli Medusa so that they can do a surprise attack. The battle continues, and in the upper ground, Giant Lady and Super Saiyan Girl manages to outplay Cockroach Girl and her lubed up body by getting inside the PDD demon's body and growing big to explode it. The incest lesbian on the other hand defeats the cockroach Kendall Jenner by turning her hair into a gun and using the whirl. Meanwhile, the commanders manages to hold on, and Margaret Thatcher used her vaginal strength to outwit Matara-kan, but she wasn't able to finish her off because Yuki would be sad if she kills her future sister-in-law. The fight stops for a bit as both sides return to their corner, and a huge explosion appears where Loli Medusa and the furry bird lady showed up, and they introduced themselves as the gods of this world. They caught Kendall Jenner and the Loli Cockroach. Then Matara-kan attacks them, but she was fended off by her PDD demon, being controlled by Loli Medusa. She was about to get smacked, but Lady Hitler and Yuki Tsunoda parries the attack and tries to fight it. Furry Lady Bird leaves first along with Kendall Jenner and the Loli Cockroach, while Loli Medusa wants to observe Yuki's movements. Then through streamer and simp coordination, they managed to beat the Unicorn PDD demon, and the Dominatrix was able to finally avenge her village. Loli Medusa yeets out, and Margaret Thatcher used her powers to transport the injured Minjes. Then the Dominatrix and Matara-kan agrees for a ceasefire. Then both of the leaders invites her to go to their base for a temporary shelter, but she refuses because she has other friends coming to help her, and her main priority is to rescue both of her bitches. Then the USSR retreats. We cut to this scene where they welcome him back and have a party. He goes to his room to motivate himself, and his new goal is to cure his sister. Then we get this flashback where the Dominatrix tells Matara-kan about her dreams to become the Führer, and she will change the rules and regulations so that bitches like her can go back to having normal lives. Some etchy stuff happens, and that's the end of the anime. This anime gets a 1000 Dominatrix out of a sodomite.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!